I am with Ethan Forman from the Gloucester Daily Times once again. Hi, Ethan. How are things?
Well, another day in the seaport.
Yeah.
I'm appreciating it. It's a wonderful place. A
Oh,
lot of moving parts.
yeah. You've learned a lot. And has it been a year yet that we've had you
It's going
here?
to be in December.
Nice. Well, let's jump right into it, as they say. The Climate Action Resilience Plan is in the news this week, right?
Yeah, I spoke with Mayor Verga. I had an interview with him in his office. Wanted to talk, and they also came before this. There was also discussion about this before the city council. If you want to learn more about what the city is doing to combat climate change, or what it could do to combat climate change, you go to the city's website, and just in a little hourglass thing there, or a little eyeglass. Carp.
Search, a little search.
Carp.
Yeah.
Search for it. Go fishing for the carp.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so that the plan just outlines, I haven't read too much of it. It outlines the status of things now, and what they would hope to achieve, action items that they want to put in place. Now, the reason why it's important for you to look at the CARP, look at the Climate Action and Resilience Plan, is that public comment is going to close soon.
Yeah. So what would people be commenting on? Have you looked at this? I don't know if you can see it on there.
Well, I think what they would comment on is, go through the plan and see if some of the things the city wants to do is feasible, in your opinion.
Yeah.
Because these are going to be action items that they're going to take. Now, some of the things that the city is already looking at is, somebody sent me a legal notice today. The high school's berm project is going out to bid.
Oh.
So they're I think a couple of years ago, they were going to put a berm around the high school.
Yeah.
And they're also going to put a berm around the water treatment plant.
Because the rising water levels.
I think we all remember it was like 2018. The parking lot got flooded. People were told, "Hey, park your cars in the in the high school lot."
Right.
During a storm, and people's cars. There was a lot of cars, and it was a big mess.
Right.
So this is the actions that the city. Now I can't really talk about any specifics. But what has the city done? Well, you see the windmills.
Right.
They purchased electric cars, other streetlights, LED streetlights. I mean, does this really matter? Yes, it does. All these little things add up. And so the city's been, and the city in 2010 was considered a green community. I think they were a little bit ahead of the curve. And that's 2 administrations ago, if I believe. That was under Carolyn Kirk.
Yeah, right. Well, the mayor is also trying to get the word out about this Mass Saves program, which is offering audits to residents so that they can find out how much their homes are inefficient or efficient, and provide ways to help them with energy efficiency. Do you want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, and I think what they're trying to do with this is they're going to be going about mid-October. People from Homeworks Energy are going to be going around and knocking on doors. And nowadays, people don't like come when they come to your door. I don't know. They're trying to do it the old-fashioned way. I think there's probably a way to sign up for this without the door knock. But
yes, anyway. There is actually, and I think it's on the city website. So you could actually, you can sign up with the person who knocks on your door and has probably a clipboard, and you could sign up, schedule your audit. They will not do it then. Here, I'm doing all the talking.
I love it. It's fine. And I think what the mayor's point was, let's get the word out that this is happening. For it's a good idea to see how efficient your house is. And they give you LED bulbs, and check to see if you need insulation. It can't hurt, right? Now, if you're low income, you're probably going to have to go through action. Because action will provide you with a lot of freebies like boilers and heat pumps. Mass Save, I don't know how their project, but if you're, they'll let you know. But I think it's a great thing. I don't live in Gloucester, and I'm imagining this is going to probably come to my town. So I think I'm going to sign up for this. And we had it done a few years ago. They put a bunch of compact fluorescents in, but now we have LED lights. Yeah,
those are better.
So look for the door knockers. Now, the mayor did want to make a point. Anyone who's watching this, they're going to come to your door. They're going to be having a vest no one should be asking you for your bill information. Do not give them your account number. And this is, don't let, you don't have to let them in now. They're going to sign you up. So it's like to schedule an assessment in the
It's
future.
only to schedule things.
It's not to come in. They're not going to come in and start changing a light bulb. So
Right.
they're going to have ID, and they've all been, background, had background checks. But this is just a way to, do outreach. I mean, you can only use so much social media. There's one thing that I think might be kind of interesting. Now, I don't know if my home is eligible for one, but they're going to have a heat pump party at the Rose Baker Senior Center.
That's
I think
what that is. Yeah.
a heat pump party. Yay. What about heat pumps?
Used to be Tupperware, now it's heat pumps.
Well, yeah, exactly. My heat pump's better than yours. I guess, these units that can fit on the wall.
Yeah.
Like an air conditioner, they run the heat conversion the other way, the physics of it, the air conditioning, your air conditioner pumps out heat
Mhm.
to that other side. So they run you run it in reverse, and the technology is come to a point where it's affordable. They're electric. So you don't have to run your gas. Mayor Verga was telling me he's had some heat pumps put in his house. He has gas. And in this sort of shoulder season, in the spring and the fall, you don't want to crank up your furnace, just keep a room comfortable. So they're gonna have a heat pump party at the Rose Baker Senior Center. I believe it's October 1st. They're gonna check the date. It's like, well,
We gotta
11:30.
check the date on that. The mayor gave us a different date, and
And then I could be wrong. And then everyone shows up at the Rose Baker Senior Center
we will check on that. Okay?
looking for their heat pumps.
I thought it was October 1st, and I was surprised when he
I
said,
said that October 1st.
I know exactly. And but I read it in your article. I think it is October 1st, but he had a different date. So I'm going
Oh,
to,
I said October. No. Oh, heat pump party is October 1st. Saturday, October 1st.
okay.
I haven't got my little red light on my phone hasn't called up and said, you got the heat pump party wrong.
Yeah.
As journalists, I
we
come
may-
in the morning when there's that light, glowing light on my thing. I'm like, from the article, 11:30, about noon, Rose Baker Senior Center, 6 Manuel F. Lewis, October 1st. The CARP, the last date to
Comment.
comment on the CARP is October 3rd.
Okay. All right. So we have to correct the mayor then. We're going to do that.
Oh no, what did the mayor say?
I'm not going to say, but he did not
Let's
say
not say.
October 1st. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm like, I'll, hey, after we get off this, I'll look it up. But that was the information that I got from
Okay.
the powers that be.
So,
Oh, and then let's steer people to a very good resource in the city.
yes.
I said, Mayor, what is Innovate Gloucester? And Innovate Gloucester is the community development. It's their energy forward-looking thinking stuff. So you want to go to Innovate Gloucester on Facebook and look them up, and they had information on the heat pump party.
Oh, good. And the door knocking and all that, the mass saves program.
Yes. Yeah. And this is all being sort of driven by Gemma Wilkins
Mhm, mhm.
in the community development department.
Okay, great.
And she came before the council, and if you want to watch that September 13th, she had nothing else to do. Go on the city website, type in Passion Road Public Meetings, and watch city council on September 13th.
I
And
watched it because
she's got-
you suggested that, Ethan, and I did watch it on your suggestion.
That was really good. The city council is really a wealth of okay, heat pump party October 1st. This is from Innovate Gloucester.
Yeah, we got it
October
down.
1st.
October 1st. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
good.
I don't want to steer people to they can go to the senior center anytime they want.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's a nice place. So, speaking of the mayor and the city and climate change, what is going on with the sustainability director position? I haven't heard about that in a while.
Yeah, I asked him because I remember this was in his platform.
Mhm.
This is one of the things that he wanted to accomplish. I think, did he single it out in his speech, or he did mention it to me when I first met him? I had a sit-down interview with him when he was mayor-elect, and he did talk about hiring a sustainability coordinator. So that is coming. I don't know the salary. I asked for the salary range on this. They haven't advertised the position yet.
Oh.
hiring is not an easy thing nowadays,
Mhm.
and it's a very specialized position. So,
Hmm.
stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, it seems like there's a lot going on in terms of climate change and resilience in the city. So that director would be busy if they were there.
The mayor said something interesting when I sat down with him. He said Gloucester has more than 60 miles of coastline.
Yeah, I just heard that.
All the nooks and crannies, hold the melted butter, I'm like, and then sea level rise is up. He's told me about, about an inch over the last few years. So Gloucester's really susceptible to this. And fortunately, we haven't had really bad weather. We've had remnants of a hurricane offshore, but we all know what can happen.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. No, that we are definitely part of that ocean out there. So it can't be disregarded. So let's move on to another story, a pretty concerning one that happened in Essex that you wrote.
yeah, this came as a kind of a surprise press release.
Mhm.
They were investigating an ordinance, not an ordinance.
Yeah. So tell us use that,
It's
define.
basically it's a house that is being up for sale, and what the
But
Chief
what's an
Francis an ordinance, like explosive ordinance.
Yes. So
Is to
like a
ordinance
grenade, like a
a
grenade,
mortar,
a
an old
mortar.
mortar.
Oh, okay. All right. And it explodes.
Well, this didn't explode, but what
Right.
happens is the house was up for sale,
Yeah.
and the clean out crew came across something that looked. This is very important. They came across something that looked suspicious, and they did the right thing. The clean out crew called 911.
Okay. What did it look like?
I don't know. We
Oh,
weren't given any sort of description like that.
okay.
Um,
But
and I
they
don't want to.
recognized
I
it.
don't want to. Yeah, they did.
Wow, good for them.
So I guess what they were telling me is that they didn't actually police and fire. They
Yeah.
cordoned off the area. They evacuated 4 to 6 homes. This is a kind of very isolated part of Essex,
Hmm.
right off Tobacco Lake. I think in the vicinity of the Gordon College has a rowing facility there, or some sort of facility. And they had to bring in a crew to sort of cordon off the lake. They were just concerned, they were concerned. They don't want an explosion.
Mm.
The Chief Francis was telling me that they don't go in. The police and fire didn't go in. State Police Bomb Squad arrived and took it to X-ray, and then I'm assuming dispose of it safely. So it was a little bit of a tempest in a teapot, but I think the message was that if you do come across something like that, is to call 911 and let the professionals handle it. Don't try to do it yourself.
And there was nothing else in this home that was maybe not
Yeah,
exploding.
they made a statement where they saw some other things. So I don't know, but
Okay.
nothing that would require the attention of the bomb. It could be somebody who collected something.
Right.
It was just concerning enough for them to say, like, hey, let's we have to see if it's live or not. And I don't know whether it was live or not. But yeah, it caused like a little bit of a stir in Essex of all places. We're like, what?
Right.
It's like
Right.
driving through the woods and there's fire engines everywhere.
I know. And evacuating, that's always a scary word.
It must have been. We didn't talk to any. I didn't. It was hard to talk to residents. It was kind of a very. It's one of these country roads, and houses are set back and everything. So, but everyone was allowed back in just a few hours later. It's like 10 in the morning or something, and it was. By the time I got there, they were clearing the scene.
Yeah.
I think everything was done in an abundance of caution.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's
Well,
good.
thank heavens there was no more to say about that story, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about some good news. Beach parking. Believe it or not, it's good news.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us.
I got it's funny because I got a call this morning. I haven't got a chance to call him back, from a guy who ran for mayor in Gloucester named Rob Russell.
I remember Rob Russell.
And Rob Russell said, this was my idea.
It was. He was the one who was really on the campaign. He was really, beating that drum of getting online beach parking reservations.
And I think this has been discussed for a few years before, and the mayor implemented it. And they went out on a limb. I think
Mhm.
first of all, they went out on a limb because they stopped selling stickers. right? I mean, probably people for decades were used to getting their out of towners were used to getting stickers.
Mhm.
The second thing is they had to curb people's enthusiasm of coming to Gloucester really early to try to get space,
Right, right.
jamming up the city, people getting turned around at the gates, and then probably going from Wingersheek to Good Harbor and back to see if they could get. So the big thing about this was, yeah, they made a lot of money.
Mhm.
I mean, $2 million,
Yeah,
which is great. I think cities to have that kind of revenue generator is amazing.
right.
But I think they eliminated traffic.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I,
Particularly around Good Harbor. I mean, particularly, that's the traffic that I would see every summer, and it would be terrible. And you did not see that this summer.
so not having lived in Gloucester, and Wingersheek would be concerning to me as a
Yeah.
beach goer.
Yeah.
It's a very narrow road, and I would like to know that I have a space when I'm
Right.
heading there.
Right.
And I think that's the beauty of this system for people who are out of town. They can reserve up to 10 days in advance. Now they're taking a chance. It could be a rainy day, like late time of
Mhm.
our week.
Mhm.
But you get a guaranteed spot. Now they did have trouble in July. They oversold
Yeah.
Good Harbor by 300. They actually oversold another beach too. I got a call from a relative who was mad because they got to Wingersheek. It was all sold
Yeah.
out.
How'd that
So
get resolved?
well, the system doesn't allow for refunds, but in this case where they did oversell, they did hopefully they gave refunds.
Okay.
And in the case of the Good Harbor sellout on that Saturday, I believe it was July 23rd,
Mhm.
they opened up a satellite lot, I believe at the O'Malley, and they
Okay.
ran a CATA shuttle bus back and forth. And the mayor said a couple hundred people were allowed to do that. And I'm telling you, I know this is Cape Ann, people in Rockport, and if you want to go to Good Harbor, book into Stagefort Park. It's cheaper,
Mhm.
and then you just take a shuttle down there.
Yeah, that's a
And
great.
that shuttle hits a lot of other spots, goes down Ryder Street and takes in the downtown. So you don't have to have your car sitting at Good Harbor.
Mhm.
You just get on that shuttle. I think it's still like $5,
Mhm.
a few bucks. I'm not sure. And then so that's like a
Good
pro
tip.
tip. That's a Gloucester pro tip because Stagefort doesn't sell out a lot.
Yeah. Well, and again, I apologize for saying that. Said particularly around Good Harbor, but because I live on the northern end of Gloucester,
Yeah.
so I don't see all that traffic at Wingersheek, but it must be horrible in years past, right?
Yeah. And I did get a testimonial from Ward 1 Councilor Scott Memard, who's like, it cleared out the traffic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
I,
great.
I came to Gloucester a few weekends and didn't see any beach traffic. I was very nervous about coming in to the city and getting, tied up at Grand Circle, and there was nothing.
Yeah. So don't tell the people on Cape Cod that we don't have any traffic anymore. Okay. Because then all those people will be coming here. But isn't it amazing? Now we really don't have traffic problems. I think it's great.
Well, now you can go to Good Harbor now. It's free. It's
Yeah.
probably the weather in September is really nice. Now I wonder I asked the mayor if they want to expand the season. Now, if you remember, the weekend before Memorial Day was extremely hot, and the
Yeah.
crowds of young people decided to descend
Yeah.
for that one last hurrah.
Yeah.
High school. So we got some complaints from the people who were overseeing the plovers that it was just too much. So maybe the idea is that you expand the season a little bit, and it might keep down some of that preseason hullabaloo.
Right.
And you're losing. I mean, you might be losing. You might be able to have revenue, but the flip side is you have to staff the gates.
Oh yeah. Right. Right.
You have to have the staffing to do it. There's a cost.
Well, it seems to be lucrative. So
Well, we don't know. I didn't ask them. I didn't ask them the other side of the ledger.
yeah.
Because there is a cost. You have to man the gates.
Well, and there are costs to the system too, right? Each ticket is each reservation, the site gets a certain percentage, right?
Yeah, yeah, there's a convenience fee,
Right. But
and
they
there's
still,
$100,000. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's still a great story. So one more story we have going on. You were able to speak to the owners of Topside Grill, which used to be Schooners and is closing. And that's another Gloucester landmark. That's just, I mean, my heart is broken that Steve Connolly's is gone and now Topside Grill.
Well, yeah, but yeah, so I talked to Doug Silver, who's been running it for 15 years, family business. It was Schooners, and then they let it go for a while to a couple other owners, and then they got it back. And Doug was a chef, and he's got a business degree as well. Decided to take it over, and it's done it for 15 years and done a good job. Told me that last year was their best year, but they couldn't get staff.
So it wasn't even like COVID numbers, people aren't coming in the doors. It was the staffing issue. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, COVID hit them like hit everybody else,
Yeah.
but they managed through it. It's the I don't know, quiet quitting, or people don't want to work like they used to, or they get a job and they stay in that one job for a long time. They just didn't have enough. They just didn't have enough staff, the trained staff. I mean, in other words, there wasn't enough long-term people to train the new people coming in.
Right.
So, I mean, they made a go of it. He did hint to me that there would be somebody else coming in. I guess they own the property.
Oh, okay.
And so they're, it's a restaurant. So, and maybe yeah, I have to watch the licensing to see what's coming on. But it is a landmark. It is kind of a shame. It's kind of great location, right? That deck is fantastic.
No.
And people kept coming in the door too, because he had opened the door to let me in because they had already closed. And people kept coming in. They were like, we want to support.
Well, I read that in your story and I thought, oh my gosh, when I drove by there the other day, there were two people like peering in the windows and knocking. So yeah, it's no shortage of customers still.
They had a good following. So hopefully the new owners can satisfy that demand, I mean, it doesn't get much better location wise in Gloucester, right?
It doesn't. And it's a Gloucester family, I believe, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just hard to see these family businesses having to shutter. So
yeah, and it wasn't because of the economy. It was the staffing.
I wish somebody would figure this staffing thing out. What is going on? Because nobody has an answer, right?
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's a hangover from COVID or people are finding higher paying jobs elsewhere.
And it's worldwide. I have good friends in Italy who work in the tourist industry, and she says we cannot get anybody. We are so short.
Yeah. Yeah. Hospitality has been especially hard hit.
Yeah. Right. All right, Ethan. Well, I think you're going to take a couple of days off for the holiday. So I wish you a happy and healthy one.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and we will see you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.